Okay, there we go. Mic, headphones, and the recording streaming screen. And let's roll. Let's roll, literally, because before I get to Stultifera Navi, we have a free daily roll. So why not use it? Yeah, just a white popcar. Okay, not gonna do the base, the store. Let's focus on Stultifera Navis. I have 700 something sanity, because I had some sanity potions close to the expiration date, so I had to use them up. And we are on board of the Stultifera Navis. When disaster struck, both the great flagship Stultifera Navis, the ship of fools, and the Iberian fleet to which it belonged were out at sea. Giant waves swallowed everything, but the ghosts of the past still lingered. Central Passage. Oh, straight into combat. I was honestly expecting a story node first. What is that? Hand of the Saint. Bounces a Hand of the Saint in the deployed direction, stunning and dealing damage to enemies it collides with. I think that's the thing in the middle. It's like a reusable stun or something. Oh. I will need two operators at the very least to guard it. Or rather, I will need to guard it from two sides. Let's see. This team was doing well so far. Right, I leveled up my Lapland. She's now E2, so now her silence is 5 seconds long. That will be helpful. Okay, here's the story. We're on board of Rhodes Island. Breogan was the owner of that key. During Iberia's golden age, he became a guest of honor to the aristocrats and nobility. He was once seen as the symbol of the budding harmony between the Aegir Islanders and Iberians. Nobody knows what he was doing right before the disaster, or what he lacked the time to do, but he already left behind a significant legacy, and for you, significant directions. Regardless, he is part of the past. I have no doubt you will be the ones to make the choice here in the present. As for the key, the question of why Breogan's key was left in Kazimierz is one we do not need answered. But it was found by the hunter, Skadi. This was no coincidence, but rather an inevitability. You all have a natural sensitivity towards the sea. Indeed, I handed the key to that band. You will learn what they truly are. Perhaps the Aegir will need to enlist their help. They are also searching for answers. Most of them are young, uncomfortable with the ocean's changes. After all, they cannot truly leave the place of their birth. Yes, I hope we'll succeed. Humanity faces too many problems, and the layers upon layers of disasters can easily extinguish the light of our current civilization. Gladia, if you wish to act alone, I won't try to dissuade you. Skadi is just like you. Perhaps all the hunters are. But whatever you do, don't think you can solve all of this land's problems by yourself. Huh? Ask away. I will answer any of your questions. Isharmla. Where did you hear that name? Isn't Skadi the corrupting heart? Skadi but possessed by Isharmla? We're almost here. But the ocean is just too vast. Even slight inaccuracies in the coordinates can lead to huge errors. It is also much calmer than I imagined. More than calm. Since leaving the lighthouse, we've actually faced fewer and fewer attacks. Not even the wind or waves are stirring. What does it mean? It means... Are you nervous, my poor little bird? Hey, when did you stand where I can see you? Who are you calling nervous anyway? It's just very, very few people manage to make it this far out into the ocean, so I can be sure that... Nay, your eyes have drawn back to over your shoulder, not the horizon. You fear loss more than the unknown. Your superior gave you this chance so you could board the Stultifera and reach out to the Aegir, not for you to wallow indecisively. I know that. Before the fight comes to us, you must... Hey, do you smell that, shark? Of course. Keep this cozy little boat slightly to the right and soon we'll be able to see the bigger boat. It's long since become yet another nester. Do you really intend to dive right in? Do you need to rest, Spectre? Me? Is there something wrong with me? Why did you ask that? Your hand is shaking. Huh? Spectre looks down at her hand. The one not wielding a weapon is indeed trembling slightly in the sea breeze. Her consciousness gradually clears up and plunges deep into the abyss, untouchable. Is this anxiety or excitement? But why? Gladia reaches out and gently holds Spectre's hand, with Skadi following suit. The three abyssal hunters share a moment of silence. Welcome home, hunters. That's a nice CG. Don't mind if I do. Gladia solemnly steps onto the ship's bow. The sea breeze cleaves a path through the night, carrying upon it a familiar scent. The quiet vessel sleeps soundly out of the ocean. It is a vassal of the sea breeze, the guest of an era. Idealism was ubiquitous in that era, and it reflected the people's spirit of exploration, as well as their arrogance. Skadi and Gladia gaze wordlessly at the ship. In an instant, they are inundated with a flood of thoughts, but in the end, they are invariably dragged back to the past, their youth, their home, the rhythmic swaying of the ship. Only Spectre continues to grip tightly onto the weapon in her hand, the sea breeze picking up slightly. This breeze will carry the hunters home. Back at Gran Faro. Monster, burn them. Lord Carmen, we can't afford to stay here much longer. The team of hunters is in danger. The penal battalion is being held back. It seems even I have underestimated the extent of the Church of the Deep Stained. We should have cleared that temporary forward base at Gran Faro to continue the pursuit. We didn't have a choice. If we have no way of securing the town, we'll be under attack from both sides. An Iberian tercio consists of at least 10 companies, approximately 3,000 people. The officers of the penal battalion are more than sufficient to lead them to victory. You seem quite knowledgeable about this. We've crossed paths more than once. Are you suggesting we let the penal battalion handle Gran Faro and head straight to the Eye of Iberia? I wouldn't be opposed to that proposal were we dealing with Victoria's fleet. Otherwise, our losses will be even greater. Riffs. Miss Frost, why are you... A warm-up workout, she said. We come from the sea, we are the sea. However... Riffs dejectedly. If you're willing to help, that would be ideal. What can you offer? I can make them listen to my song. And your companions? Apologies in advance, but Dan wants to borrow that chapel. The others are in there thinking up new songs. Music? Your melodies are considerably different from what I used to hear in Lathanian. Are you sure they'll be interested in this sort of thing? Riff tersely. The meaning of life is music. I just want to clean up the venue before the show starts. Frost slowly pulls out her guitar. Carmen cannot help but be surprised. He can tell that the organism in front of him is truly, genuinely thinking about music. Her words contained no superfluous intentions. It is by no means a metaphor. Use the word as such and Frost's attention will quickly wander. She only thinks about music. Only this form of art capable of stimulating her soul can hold her attention. The riffs experimentally. The lurking sea terrors circle around her, observing, examining, judging. They dare not wantonly approach her. They smell a familiar scent. They realize that the guitarist in front of them is a hollow vessel. Her distant connection resonates through the depths bestowed to them as their birthright. Even on land, they instantly feel as if they have become one with the sea. How miraculous. These creatures are intimately connected with the land itself. In their eyes are humans, and sea terrors no different. Frost does not answer. She is intoxicated by the melody, consumed by the passion. Kelsey knows that the question was rhetorical. Kelsey, was this also part of your plans? For them to sit on the coast while the Penal Battalion delves into the sea? If you choose to believe so, then yes. But the Penal Battalion didn't even have time to prepare even a single ship for us. There's already one sitting along the shore. It's been years since the Grandfather project was scrapped. First, we must uproot the evil that still grips this land. I remain an Inquisitor. I will not sit idly by and watch the corruption that's been infesting Iberia slip away right before my eyes. Whoa! Are you alright? Let go of me! Don't just go around picking people up! But, my fragile little bird, how will you climb up this tall deck if I don't carry you? That's not what I meant. Forget it. What's the matter? Inquisitor Irene simply stares blankly at the scenery in front of her. A dim sliver of light in front of the pitch-black sea. In front of the ship's mast, time seems to have stood still for the past 60 years. So this is the Stultifera Navis, the ship of fools. The flagship that housed both scholars and soldiers, the floating palace of a fallen dynasty. It's quite different from how it's described in the books. Let's go. Wait! What are you even searching for on a ship this big? Breogan was an Aegir. This key must be hiding some sort of a clue that the Aegir wanted to leave behind. A key? What is it meant to open? That's what I'm here to find out. Even ignoring its size, this ship's also been lost at sea for 60 years. How do you plan to... Perhaps you young Iberians haven't had much exposure to these transport vessels. Even with Breogan's help, this thing was so shortly built. Why you... Were the seas calm on our way here? I'm sure you know the answer. Then my next question for you is this. Why didn't this ship sink? You don't mean... Footsteps. Heavy, viscous footsteps. A shadow appears upon the deck, where no living beings should stare. No, Irene immediately reprimands herself for having such a thought. Gladia's question was also on her mind. Along the shore, in the waters, she's already seen so many of these. Sea terrors. The moment she sees the enemy, the young, talented Inquisitor Irene's first instinct is to hold her breath. By the time she remembers how to breathe, Gladia has already stepped forward. Ooh, dodge mechanic. Interesting. You managed to dodge it. Not for long. Don't even think about it. What? It hid inside the cabin. Should we chase it? Yes, that is where it went. But why would it hide inside? We're out in the middle of the ocean. What do we do? It's not alone. There's more than one seaboard on this ship, and even more sea terrors. We should split up. I'll go after it. I'll head down. Down? How? Do you people already know the layout of this ship? We don't, but that's nothing a sharp blade can solve. Excuse me, this is the most important legacy of the Iberian sages we're talking about here. And where will you go, little bird? I have an obligation to supervise you, so I'll go with you. There are so many mysteries shrouding the Stultifera. If it's been preserved this well, why did it never try to return to Iberia in the last 60 years? As an inquisitor, I must uncover the truth. Shall we hold hands then? What's the meaning of this? You are a fruit of elegance and grace, but your hard work and natural talents are worthless before the enemies you'll face. I fear we will lose you with but a momentary lapse of focus. You look down on others too much, Aegir? Keep her safe then. Will do. Shark. Huh? Did you remember something? The sea breeze told me. It spoke of a sculpture. It is weeping, waiting for me. Will I be able to find it on this ship? Of course, but make it quick. I'll be waiting for you. What sculpture? Well, let us say our greetings to the deceased while searching for its whereabouts, Skadi. Let us say our greetings for the deceased. I'm glad you still remember my name. Oh, that's beautiful. And we now know where the menu background comes from. It's the interior of the Stultifera. This place really is fit to be a palace. But how is it so pristine? There's not a speck of dust to be found. Look, even the floorboards are sparkling. Maybe someone wanted to keep it tidy. Who, though? Who knows? You said you were going to pursue that monster. How are you planning on doing that? Its scent doesn't lie. Though this place is full of putrid smells, there must be more. Indeed, there is more. Sea terrors! As expected, they turned this place into a nest. I'll handle this. Wait, Spectre. The scent's coming from below. Isharmla. Isharmla. That impact. Are you alright, Spectre? Spectre? Laurentina? What are you looking at? A mirror? Why is there a mirror? The mirror's been broken. What's with this place? Why did the Iberians make a transport vessel into a palace? It's nothing like Rhodes Island. Is there anything special about the mirror? I saw it. At first, there was a speck of light from the surface of the shattered mirror, but it quickly gave way to the dark shadow beneath it. Its eye. The Seaborn had long been waiting here, sitting alone in its golden hole. Ishar mla latina lutina larentina. It's young. No, we can't judge their strength by size. Another Seaborn, without a doubt. Sea terrors too. They're gathering. Spectre. Spectre ignores her words as she stares blankly at the mirror and at the Seaborn behind it. You remember me? The Seaborn nods slightly. It looks at Spectre and Skadi with confusion, thinking, why are they different from how they were in the past? What happened to them? How can it help free them from the shackles of their flesh and blood? Spectre, don't think about it. I'm not. Her tone had changed. Skadi looks at Spectre with astonishment. She had never been able to get a definite answer from either Gladia or Kelsey regarding the moment of clarity Spectre displayed in Salviento. Laurentina, Laurentina. Yes, Laurentina. Look, here on the scroll, hanging from my weapon. Back when I wrote my name down and hung it there, I could still remember where I was born. A lucid dream, huh? Really? It's been too long. Spectre. We can reminisce later. Whether in Salviento or aboard this familiar yet unfamiliar vessel, I really hope that next time I'm awakened it's by Aegir's resplendent domes instead of you ugly monsters. Hey, thanks for sitting back and letting me finish. Wait, you weren't seriously about to call us your kin, were you? Gross. Come on, why don't you take a little nap too? Sink into the quagmire of consciousness and relinquish the gift of life. Okay, time to do some combat. Finally, what's the point of story nodes? After falling below half HP, spreads another brand to tiles it travels over and gains increased defense and block requirement. Understandable, have a nice day. How do I cover the most ground with her? This should be the best, I think. Thorn Boy. Right. Here, perhaps, facing right. Healing, of course. Here. Yeah, that looks good. Sure. And a second healer. Shelter? Sure, let's try shelter. Okay, I can clean it up. More or... Ah, no, I can't clean it up entirely. That sucks. But we only have like 6 more enemies to deal with, so should be no problem. Yeah, with this many healers and whatnot. Easy. I was afraid it's gonna be more of a challenge, but turns out it was quite an easy game. Soon you're gonna get to whack some people, Gavial, when you get an altar. What the fuck? How many of those things are here? Officer's Lounge. There are several pieces of damaged art in the officer's lounge. Large, torn apart oil paintings, pure white sculptures shattered into pieces, caved-in bronze reliefs. There are also more bizarre things, like a billiards table inlaid with silver and a number of poker cards with intricate patterns that appear to be hand-drawn. Okay, I don't have a key, so search the lounge. For whatever reason, the traces of the passing years can be seen on this note. It has never been moved, replaced, or dusted, always remaining in its original position, faithfully covering the message left by the one who penned it. Day after day, year after year. Don't touch them. Those are my treasures, and you'll pay if anything goes missing. Try to control yourself the next time you get into a fight. There aren't many things left on this ship to prove where we came from. After the passage of a great many moons, the original witnesses have long disappeared, but these manuscripts remain elegant and dignified. Domed elevator. A strange noise comes from the distance. It seems that this ball has not yet ended. The head. Inside the bathroom, everything looks good as new, and drops of water dribble from the spigot. The only unusual thing is that all the mirrors have been shattered, now only able to reflect broken images. There are still unused supplies in the storage box under the sink. Okay, for clearing SN6. Crew quarters. A strange noise comes from the room, as if something is persistently rapping against the wall, regular and hollow, persistent and monotonous. Open the door and search. Unsurprisingly, it's a sea terror. It stumbles to a halt and turns around. If sea terrors also possess the mental state of confusion, then the sea terror before your eyes is without a doubt confused. It seems to have been battling a wall for some time now, a side of its body thorny and chitinous from the collisions. If it has no way to leave, it will ultimately give up, turning itself into nutrients for its skin. Its body has been impaled with a string of keys, likely remnants of its last mortal struggle. Its opponent had likely broken their blade and reached for whatever sharp objects were available, persisting until the bitter end. Perhaps the wound just happened to cut into a certain nerve node in the sea terror, or perhaps there is some other reason it escaped from the crew quarters and decided to do battle against the wall. There might even be another possibility. In any case, pull out the keys and put an end to its miserable existence. And now we have the key. There are several pieces of damaged art. Okay, yeah. Open the door. The locked door has been opened. This area inside the lounge originally was a small conference room, but by the looks of things, the last meeting held here did not go very well. Documents are strewn all around the ground, trampled upon by panicked footprints. A huge chart hangs in the conference room, marking the positions of every ship in the Grand Fleet. The icons that once represented their existence have been extinguished, leaving the chart empty. Its azure background now symbolizes the boundless ocean upon which this flagship floats alone. Yeah, hey, welcome to the stream. You did make it. We are, half an hour into the stream, but we only played, like, the very first mission of this section, SN6. So you can always watch it on the VOD if you want. No more lore misunderstandings. Okay, that's great. Okay. And thus, the mightiest fleet ever known to Terra quietly dissolved into this blue expanse. Join the pride and ambition of Iberia past. Tool room. This used to be the tool room on the Stultifera, used to store instruments, tools and supplies needed for the ship's maintenance. But for a ship that has had to endure a horrific calamity, losing its mobility in the process, banking on the stools alone might be a bit of wishful thinking. Search the cabinet. It may well be the case. It may well be the case that even the most skilled craftsmen of today's nations would be helpless before these devices, not because of how complex their structure is, but rather from the difficulty of operating their arts units. Most of these tools are fairly simple for a beginner to operate, a flip of a switch and a few button presses, and they'll spring to life and efficiently get the job done. The only issue is, nobody knows exactly why they work. Okay, so it's Warhammer 40k technology, essentially. Just as humans cannot imagine walking without legs or grasping without hands, these machines lack any kind of reasonable engine or power supply mechanism. Only God knows how they work. The way they use Originium is completely different. And rummage through the drawers. At the bottom of the drawer is a sheet of paper that has long since yellowed. Next to it are words written in striking red paint. Don't go to the deck. Don't jump overboard. Don't allow yourself to sink. Read it, remember who you are. This piece of paper seems to have been cut from the officer's manual and is filled with flamboyant rhetoric, boasting that the ships can that this ship can be called a palace on the Iberian Sea, a mobile throne for exalted kings. The officers and researchers lucky enough to be selected as the crew of the Stultifera Navis were the most outstanding talents of Iberia's golden age. One of the passages was marked with a highlighter. In any given era, there are only so many names that will be remembered. History, in all its cruelty, shows no mercy to the mediocre. Congratulations, most glorious crew member, you will surely enter the annals of history. Lower Hole. His eyes widened with anger, his hand not letting go of the helm for decades. Okay, so that's a story note, we're gonna leave it for last. Storage room. A storage room full of spare sails. Unfold one and you will find a canvas decorated with golden threads and carefully embroidered with the pattern of the Iberian flag. Maybe there are some useful supplies to be found here. During the Stultifera Navi, defeat a total of 40 nether sea spewers, Oriron, and some compasses. First galley. Above this room's door hangs a sign that reads First Galley. From the size and scale of this kitchen alone, one can already imagine the grand occasion on which sumptuous dishes would emerge from here. Frozen shot. Okay, open the door and search. As its name suggests, the first galley is one of several kitchens. In addition, there's a kitchen for preparation and plating, another for desserts, and so on. The crew here is served delectable dishes worthy of their honorable statuses, or at least they were in the past. Naturally, the calamity and the starvation that ensued quickly and mercilessly stripped people of their veneer of virtue. However, let us pray that the blackened bloodstains in a corner of the galley are but accidental splatters from the chef carving Sistibic steak. The desalination unit installed in the kitchen seems to have been out of use for many years. Even the hardiest of races cannot survive by drinking seawater. Their ultimate fate was to die of dehydration in the middle of the ocean. Ballroom. This ballroom has entertained all sorts of guests. Why not head to the first galley and see if there are any delicacies there yet to be served? Well, I was at the first galley, but the freezer is frozen shut. Inquisition minutes, logs. Yeah, there's logs, misty silhouettes, mist piercer. The golden spectre emerges from the depths of the mist, even the passage of more than 60 years unable to block out its light. Visitors, are you prepared to face its whispers? Ancient throne. Shadows continue to linger beside that ancient throne. They have always been a part of that radiance. And in the backpack, flagship's engineering blueprint. When the blueprints for the Stultifera Navis, the ship of fools, were sent to the royal family and the aristocrats, even the dullest of dignitaries knew exactly what that meant. The engineer from Aegir had continuously proselytized about the threat from the sea, to the point that his rhetoric grated on everyone's nerves. But, by the looks of things, their patience was well worth it. Of course, the ignoble engineer insisted that the ship was for scientific research, but through the forceful intervention of the royal family, it was nonetheless equipped with high-strength armor and a main battery of fearsome caliber. After all, if such a threat existed, it must be dealt with through appropriate countermeasures. Next, they blurred the precise nature of this threat just a little bit. People are much more willing to hate specific things than broad concepts, much more willing to lust after tangible benefits than vague ideals. The ship is better put to use against Iberia's enemies than fighting against the sea. Presumably, the Aegir engineer will have no objections to these minute details. Okay, so story node. Lower hole. Observe. The further in we go, the more sea turtles there are. It's getting dangerous. Maestro, how do I become like them? Seaborn? It's the same one we saw on the deck. The hunter's attacks didn't do any damage? How will it come at me? With its limbs, its fangs? My hand cannon, I need to create distance. Wait. Wait a second. What's that on your belt? Why would you... Could you be... One of the crew members? It has a compass on the belt. Ah! What strength! I barely managed to block it. Yeah, it has a compass on the belt. He's an Iberian. Former Iberian. Do you have something to say, monster? I can't go down here. I won't. I'm an Inquisitor of Iberia. It has taken too long to burn away the heresy brand. The situation's not looking good. I can see what's going on down there from here. How many hours have passed? How much longer can he hang on? No, don't think about it, Georgie. Focus. The Inquisition, hurry. Is that all? Listen to your friends wail. The flower of Salviento at last had its beauty. But what about you? It's my first dance lesson after waking up. I must say you're underwhelming. It's getting away. I'll go after it. You go find the little Iberian bird. How are you feeling? Better than ever. My memories are tumbling down like a waterfall from the heavens. It'll take a while for the full picture to emerge, though. Yeah, Jordi is a good boy and a great medic. I will need to raise him up a little bit, but I need the resources. And some of my more recent memories are rather embarrassing. I'll go. Your mind is still unstable. Oh? Trying to steal my prey? It'll try to escape to the sea. Of course it will, but it wasn't running just because it couldn't win. What did it find? We don't have time. I'll never get used to hand cannons. Hey, where are you? Huh? The Abyssal Hunters? Hello, Irene. I see you've brought us more prey. Did you just call me Irene? Have you regained your memories? Not entirely, but I know I'm in a great mood right now. This is not the time. That's the one from the deck. It's fast enough to dodge the captain's lunge. I really must tip my hat to you, Irene, for chasing it all the way here without taking a scratch. I can't take credit for it. It hardly even attacked. Look, it's still not, even now. I see. I thought it wouldn't be able to resist if we chatted like this and showed it an opening. Your friend just left, you know. It's not too late for you to go after them. Or are you a pacifist too? Ah, yeah, I did drop Gundam 30 minutes before streaming. My bad, my bad. I was supposed to drop it earlier, but I just forgot to press the button that makes it go live. So it went live a little bit later than I thought it would. Yeah, it usually goes. My videos usually go up at 16:30 GMT -2 Central European time. So it should have been up 3 hours ago from now. But yeah, it's a bit late. Here's the key from the Granny event. Kazimierz, a landlocked country where Skadi stayed for a time. A place of sprawling grasslands and forests, the land of knights. Knights. Yeah, our Don Quixote. Is it a coincidence, or did something draw him there? This ship, Brogan, what did you intend to leave behind for your homeland? Where have you hidden the answer? Huh. Sea terror carcasses? And not only that. The wounds are clean and precise, they show no signs of resistance. Scents mingle in the air here is stale. What else is there on this ship? Your belt and pocket watch are undoubtedly human in origin, and even in the Iberian style. What are you? It's stalling for time. This will get complicated if the other one gets back to the ocean. Still not attacking. With a passive dance partner. I'll take the lead, Scaddy. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Gah. Come on, fight back already. I'm starting to feel like the bad guy. No, it's not stalling for time. Who defiles my Iberia? Heathens. The sound of bells? What? Bells echo through the empty hole. The lights in the hole flash. The Seaborn lands in the direction of the throne while the three are distracted. Yes, the throne. There is a throne on this Iberian ship, a symbol of pride, power, arrogance, and deceit. It's like... Spectre trails off, knowing what she was about to say was far too absurd. It wears a crown and drapes itself in the same colors as the curtains. It kneels by the side of the throne, the two inextricably bonded with one another. It resembles the queens and ministers of old, serving the golden sun of Iberia. A silhouette emerges from behind the throne. Irene raises her lantern over her head, trying to illuminate the shadowy figure. Hello, Mr. Braugan, maybe? Why do you set foot on my ship? Who would ignore a question from the great Alfonso? Why are you here? Why have you broken the silence and come from my Iberia, which had lain forgotten for decades? I will start with you. Answer me, child of old Iberia. Irene could not believe her eyes. She'd seen the Seaborn's face before. She had devoted much time of her time during her Inquisitor training to the study of history, immersing herself in doctrines and creeds. How dare this Seaborn claim to be Alfonso? How dare it claim to be Iberia's greatest ship captain? You can't possibly be the captain of the ship, monster. Alfonso was almost 50 years old, 60 years ago, but you look even younger than the great hero was back then. Irene knows she is shaken, but she cannot show weakness. She reflexively raises her lantern as her commanding officer would have. Drop the mask, Seaborn. The light of her lantern flickers. The tiny speck in the Inquisitor's hand seems to fit the word lost better than the lights of this golden hole. The Golden Age. The Seaborn briefly lays its eyes on Irene before turning away dismissively, rubbing Alfonso's inhuman arm. A short silence surrounds the hero. Seaborn? I don't like that name. Tell me your name, child of old Iberia. I'm Irene, Inquisitor of Iberia. And old Iberia, you dare defile the name of... And you dare talk to me like that? A screech interrupts the exchange. Ah, where were you when we burned Victoria's ship and sunk the Lion King's honor to the bottom of the lake? Where were you when I paved the streets of Salviento with pure gold brought back in my ships? Where were you when the Tertius darkened Leithanian's dawn like a black cloud? How were my pulls? I did get Spectre Altar and a couple of 6 stars. No, actually, Spectre Altar and a couple of 5 stars. Mainly Windfleet. Windfleet is at max spot. Recently, from the daily pulls, I didn't really pull anything interesting. Although I did have enough gold certs to buy what's her name? To buy this Sarka's demon lady that's a boss killer, whose name I forgot. Yes, I did want Irene. Yes, I did want Irene, but I didn't get her. I didn't get her yet. I'm waiting for my daily pulls. If I don't get Irene from my daily pulls, I'm gonna spend like 6,000 more or random. Salviento was paved with gold, now it's all gone. Yeah, I mean, every place that was paved with gold gets stripped for it. If I recall correctly, the pyramids of the very tops were either gypsum or gold. Some were plated with gold. No trace of that gold nowadays. Ah, lucky bastard. Got the burb. The Beyblade burb. I was able to use her during IS2, and she's great. I love her. I am Alfonso, Duke of Old Iberia, Admiral of the Armada, Captain of the Stultifera, and King of my own kingdom. You, a mere inquisitor, dare question me? So the church's fools have crossed the ocean to find me. What did you expect, a pat on the back? Go back. No matter how you got here, the Stultifera Navis does not welcome you. Garcia, my chief mate, no need to be so bothered by them. They will repay the sea 1,000-fold for the blood they made you spill. Ah, mocking the Inquisition is a serious crime in Iberia. Did you not understand what I just said? Leave. There's not a single living soul on this ship, child of old Iberia. I've sacrificed so much to... I'm not here to ask for your permission. Such impertinence. This is why I never liked the church. A crime against the church, too helpless to stand against the feeble royal house. If you're really from old Iberia, then tell me, who is the incumbent pope? Pope Carmen? You know Saint Carmen's name? Saint? A saint? Ha! Ha! Saint! Ha ha ha! What are you laughing at? He didn't even have the medal to become pope. Does he not feel ashamed when he sees himself in the mirror? No wonder it took you 60 years to find this place. It's a disaster has made Iberia weak. But no matter. Before the ship's doctor joined the corrals, we discussed what might have become of Iberia. This is not unexpected. The floor that you stand on, this immaculate golden hole, this is the motherland I know. This is Iberia, not the backwater you speak of, half of which you refuse to see or understand. How far has the once great empire fallen? Is it really so pathetic that it took you 60 years to find me? Alfonso descends from the podium. Irene takes a step back. Her lantern flickers. Now then, why are there two Aegir with you? There's no place for the Aegir in my Iberia. We meant no offense, Captain. We were merely chasing some ugly monsters and mistook your chief mate for one of them. How did you survive so long here? That's the question, ain't it? You Aegir fools. It's been so many years before I took up hunting as a hobby. Either today or tomorrow should have been the day of reckoning. But you chased away my quarry. Now we must once again rely on this. No, wait, no! You're not Aegir. You're more than Aegir, both of you. What's her name? Skadi. No. Aegir, don't try to deceive me. We may have been trapped on this ship for decades, but we are no fools. They call you Sharmla. Yeah, the deity of the Seaborn. Did you hear the bells, Ulpianus? It's a miracle that anything works on this ship at all. Here the bells signal the start of the hunt. But who's the hunter and who's the prey? The children of the ocean don't care. If they consider Alfonso to be their kin, albeit weakened, they're willing to offer their own flesh and blood, all to ensure the survival of the strong. A hunter approaches. Gladia. She's too sharp. The skills I learned on land will only work for so long. She'll detect me soon. What will you do? What will you do? Answering a question with a question. I am interested in your choice, Ulpianus. I never expected to become interested in abyssal hunters again, but Laurentina fascinates me. I see so much possibility in her. And you've made your choice of your own accord, while retaining your sanity. Have you noticed? More and more you're becoming like one of us. Can you reach the truth? Cast aside revelation, lay open the body of God, and learn the truth of the gods of the sea? The answer you're seeking is tantalizing. Look at me, showing curiosity. Perhaps there is something human in me yet. The revelation is imprinted upon the instinct of God's children. Our ways of thinking couldn't be more different. Oh my, you sound even more like a Seaborn than I do. Okay, so she's a Seaborn. Good to know. Phew. That was a fair bit of a story. Okay, I'm guessing we can unfreeze the door now. Yeah, check the freezer. Mist scatters in every direction when the freezer door is opened. It's been on this entire time. Dozens of sea terror carcasses are lined up neatly in the freezer. There are many different kinds, and some are no longer complete, their wounds smooth and most likely caused by a clean cut. A few other skeletons of various shapes and sizes have been hung in a way that could be described as disconcerting, but it is simply a collection of different evolutionary trajectories. From the differing rates of discoloration in the bones, their ages vary as well, possibly spanning decades. By the looks of it, this ship has also welcomed some non-speaking guests. Oh, straight into another story. Sure. Come as you please, leave in pieces. Freely the swine pour, bodies litter the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. In the ballroom. Ah, you've returned. Thank you for your contribution. I know how painful it must be for someone like you to go against your faith. But Providence lies just ahead. This is by no means a false promise, but true redemption. I thank you. Lord Carmen is far beyond our comprehension. There's no point trying to deceive him. He will discover the truth before long. You should also thank Thiago. Our lie has condemned him to death at the hands of the Inquisition. I have never seen the Herald of the Sea, but rumor has it the Herald will not refuse the requests of its kin. Because the choices of kin must surely benefit the entire kind. The thoughts of kin must also be shared by the entire kind. We ought to learn from this, as this is also a part of the cycle. Then we'll let Thiago worry about himself. But I still have doubts. They are unnecessary. Our prophet, Miss Amiya, will she really be able to come back? She has simply chosen to return to the sea one step ahead of us. She is to locate our path, our herald, and the trades of the sleeping city. If she returns, it is to help her kin. If she does not, it is because she is making preparations. We needn't worry too much about her. Just know that she wishes to avoid the scrutiny of the Inquisition, regardless of where she might be. Then this person, the Siberian, why did we abduct him? Oh, Elysium! Hello! Fancy seeing you here. His patroness seems to have made some kind of arrangement with Carmen. He is an enemy. I really wish you chose another way of describing my relationship with the Doctor. You've been investigating us, have you not? I've devoted quite a lot of time explaining your ideals to you, and we would prefer not to hurt you. Have you thought things through? I think I've heard everything I need to know about your hypocrisy. Hypocrisy? Ah, you still speak of morality, the morality of the human realm. I couldn't care less what the Citeros or Seaborn really are. All I see are a bunch of outlaws inventing a reason to vent their frustrations with Iberia and the Inquisition. While I haven't lived here for a particularly long time, I am an Iberian, and I've been to a lot of places and seen a lot of different things. People like you who think they're special are actually a dime a dozen. If the gods you talk about are real, and all that nonsense about being the pinnacle of evolution or the bleeding edge of life, then surely those gods must look down on people like you, right? How dare you? No, he's right. That is why the Herald no longer speaks to us. That is why only Amiya can hear the voice of the ocean, and only she can guide us. So there really was something up about Amiya. Ch. I should have caught on sooner. That said, how's it looking? Whatever those things of yours are that neither see brand, they aren't able to get into the center of town at all. That black monster can do more than fly. It can even belch out terrifying jets of flame. The Nersey brand can spread faster than it's being burned. If this gets dragged out, then Grandfather will fall into the Inquisition's hands, and as soon as the Sea Terrors holding back the Penal Battalion are exterminated, then we all die. No, Thiago, no. All these things you speak of, you do not grieve for the kin who willingly give themselves up to hold back our enemies. In other words, you are not yet resolved to sacrifice yourself for our entire kind at a moment's notice. Don't talk to me like that. Our interests happen to line up this time. I'm just an old fogey with no interest in becoming an ocean hugger. What a low-born, stubborn creature. Same to you, friend. And you, lad, didn't I warn you not to meddle in other people's affairs? Thiago, you know each other? No. It's just an outsider who kept hanging around the chapel. As the mayor, I need to have at least some idea of every person in town. You should have stayed out of it. Right then. We should act soon, right? Or are we going to wait for the Inquisitor and his monster-wielding accomplice to burn my town to the ground? We will not. You seem awfully attached to the city. Why? Yeah, kind of a pity that monster can't just use a beam attack in-game. Some sort of a ranged attack. Or maybe a module for Kelsey, or one of the skills allows you to deploy monster on ranged grids. That'd be interesting. Grandfather is the embodiment of our generation, spanning vision to rebuild our country, heretic. Ask any of the Iberians who've joined you and you'll understand. Oh, right. Right, I did hear that in beta, I think Monster had a different name. Like Mon 1 Ter or Mon 2 Ter instead of Mon 3 Ter. Something like that. Haven't played the beta. It's a pity. I heard there were some cool features, cool things in beta. I'm gonna have to look up some gameplay if it's on YouTube. I'd be interested to check that out. The Inquisition has taken long enough from us, and I intend to pay them back double. I'm Skadi, not Isharmla. You pronounce it differently, but what does it mean? Skadi knows, but there's no answer. Gladia told her that she is alright, and she is willing to believe her. But that is only an escape. She knows what the name means. It means a thunderous roar within the abyss, flesh and bone rubbing against the rock walls until only the will remains, surging beyond the ocean. It means that after that harrowing battle, something was left in her body. Something. My blood and your blood are identical. You smell my scent, exactly as we smell your scent. You find us, kill us. When we do not understand, we kill you too. We feed the ocean. Our bodies have provided for the ocean. Isharmla, we possess the same home. Inquisitor, how dare you join forces with them? What? Get off my ship this instant, otherwise you'll join them in my hand as the quarry. Easy there, Mr. Captain. Now tell me, how did you come to learn of this name? I'll tell you exactly how. We ate the flesh of these things and our bodies began to change. I personally executed 3 of the survivors until only we remained. Now it's my turn to ask you. Their blood also flows in your veins, I can smell it, and you must be more special than the others. What are you? Look at my hand. Skadi looks down. One of the captain's arms has taken the form of a seaborn, its newly formed webbing clearly visible, and its tentacle-like extensions ever squirming. He seems to be making an effort to restrain it. By the looks of it, whatever is inside that arm is also interfering with his body. It thirsts for my mind. It tells me to liberate you, to talk to you, to listen to your thoughts. Get out of my ship before I kill the lot of you. Only by killing you I can maintain my sanity as a human. Be gone! We've paid an immense price just to get here. If you truly still are that Iberian hero, then you should join us. Think carefully, little Inquisitor. I've been in a bitter struggle for my life on this ship for longer than my homeland has been at war. What could you possibly understand? A single year of confinement can break a person's will. Do you have any idea how many years we've spent here flirting with the waves? 7 or 8 years ago, I personally executed the last crew member and threw him into the sea. He died as a human. He was the last to. We were Iberia's best sailors, warriors, and scientists, stalwart in our faith. The most common way to die aboard this ship. Suicide. You can't imagine what I've been through. The left side of my body snatched away, even my dreams. I no longer needed sleep. That itself was a form of torture. And during this prolonged torture, I've had naught to do but hunt those monsters, large and small, and while I wait the remaining hours polishing my ship. Leave me and my chief mate be and return to where you came from. I don't belong to you or to the sea. I belong only to my Iberia, to the Stultifera Navis. Gladia stops walking. While she contemplates why this place is so clean, she notices a change in the scent. Seaborn. Of course there are seaborn here. But what is the cause of this impure odor? And where did this vague premonition she is starting to feel come from? She can only continue walking, following the path etched in the back of her mind, and attempt to reach the depths of the ship. Suddenly, she comes to a stop. Don't you think you're being a bit too obtuse appearing on this primitive transport vessel that hasn't docked in over 60 years? Bishop of the Deep. You saw through me immediately. Do you suppose that means I chose the wrong place to appear? You followed us here. Hardly. Strictly speaking, I was the one who arrived first. The ocean communicates with me, it accepts me, it hates me. From the very beginning, coming to this ship was a trivial task. That you've been able to suppress your urge to rush forward and slay me is already quite impressive. Is it because you feel this ship is vital to your grand plans? What are you after? You killed Quintus. I should have known better. So in your test tube watching bottom feeders, pardon my language, will pursue vengeance? No, you misunderstand. Quintus was a bit too eager to attain results, and that temperament of his not only led to his demise, but also demonstrated conclusively that he was born human. Not that that's something to be ashamed of. Under our doctrine, we will never become what we seek to be by thought alone. Only changes to nerve and sinew can be considered real. Wouldn't you agree, Abyssal Hunter? We don't need to be enemies. I have no plans to do anything to you. One's end is decided at the moment of one's birth. Nothing can change this immutable fact. You went through all the effort to follow us out to the sea just to spew this nonsense? Ah, about that. That's not something you need to know. Those lowly creatures won't be able to hold me back. Amiya smiles sweetly, but does not answer. A blue light emerges from under her feet, and it soon envelops the entire corridor. The Nethersea brand. The Nethersea brand at Gran Faro. So those traps were your handiwork? Hardly. You're so quick to blame your every misfortune on the Church of the Deep, but never stop to consider the truth behind this phenomena. These children have always existed in Gran Faro. I simply found them. Ha, cut the crap. We're out in the middle of the ocean. Our touch, invisible to the naked eye, is everywhere. The ship may not be of much use in your quest to return to Aegir. But must you really insist on returning? Have you never had the slightest inclination to listen to what the heralds have to say? Seems you aren't too different from that stupid bishop after all. You've never even been in a real fight, otherwise you'd never say such an idiotic thing to a hunter. No, not all hunters take such pride in their arrogance. We will meet again, Gladia. You've disappointed me, but that's fine. Perhaps it's for the better that you have something to break out of. Meaning? But whether you come or go, or whether Aegir comes and goes, it's not for me to decide. You won't be leaving this conversation alive, though. Oh, really? Quintus should have had a herald by his side. You've fought with that herald, you've spoken with that herald. While you stagnate in place, the ocean is ever in motion. Aegir is far from smart enough to curb evolution itself. Hold it. Gladia. Such weak, pitiful prey that cannot even speak, or like a beast. Hurry up and die, I still have a score to settle with that bishop. I need answers from her. Did you hear that, chief mate? A quarry brace, it calls out to us. The monster known as the chief mate nods slightly, and uses its claws to straighten the crown that started to slip from its head. It brays, it calls out to us. You brought yet more rabble with you. It must be Sportfish. She must have discovered something. There's something unusual about the smell here. The sea breeze is confusing us. Good thing this filthy Aegir haven't scared it away. We've already been romping around for months, and I'd hate to see my ship even more beat up. By hunt, do you mean you're hunting the Seaborn? Seaborn? Haha, sure am. Hunting to live off the bounty of the land. Hasn't humanity done so since the dawn of time? But you still haven't left by the clock's next chime. You will die. Oh, what did we get? A log. The huge dome elevator in the middle of the Stultifera connects the various levels of this great battleship. When riding it, one may witness Iberia's breathtaking scenery depicted across the walls. Standing here is like standing in the center of the world. Got a faded photo. From what few materials remain, this part of the ship was called the domed elevator. Though the photo has already faded, you can still see what it looked like when it was first built. This is the heart of the Stultifera Navis. To use a somewhat corny metaphor, if the Stultifera is the crown of Iberia, then the domed elevator is its brightest gemstone. When designing this area, Breogan intended it to be a purely functional device, connecting the various decks. But the people who made it what it would become were Iberia's greatest artists. Along the walls surrounding the dome, they painted the most elaborate frescoes, engraved the most profound poems, and inlaid the most awe-inspiring statues. The process of stepping into the elevator was in itself a visit to Iberia's most vaunted treasures. Rumor has it that at least 3 of the royal palace's artists died in duels for the privilege to have a place in the domed elevator project. Training area. A training area packed with sea terrors, seemingly startled awake by the sound of hunting bells. This place, once used for human training, is now their hatchery. In the darkness, sets of eyes shine with an eldritch glow. The sounds of crawling and slithering fill the air, and their hostility is practically palpable. Draw your blade. This is a battle for survival. Brand new log. In the end, a sea terror is nothing more than a sea terror, and the battle soon reaches its conclusion. They slink back into the darkness to recuperate, awaiting their next opportunity. That is the nature of the hunt. You are either the hunter or the prey. A rather large sea terror died under the watch of its kin. From its peduncle hangs a pocket watch, which, based upon its engravings, once belonged to the navigator of the Stultifera Navis. From the perspective of their species' survival, would sea terrors ever evolve a compulsion to collect? Oh, even more. Jesus, that's a big event. Golden Corridor. Combat. Locked. There are a few horrible gashes left on the walls of this corridor. Perhaps the records room will tell what exactly happened here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the records room last. Pipe shaft. The area inside the pipe shaft is a complete mess. It seems that some brutal fighting occurred here, and based on the sword marks left behind, both sides must have been human. Search carefully. This place is dark and messy. In a lightless corner lies a skeleton. No, upon closer inspection you realize that it's actually 2 skeletons entangled together. One of the skeletons seems so warped and twisted that it resembles the bones left behind by a certain species of sea terror. One long sword pierced through what had once been their chests, while a second sword remains in their grasp. By the looks of it, they had been the ones to drive the first sword through their bodies. Why would their deaths be like this? What was their relationship? What were they thinking before they died? Perhaps nobody will ever know. Around the skeletons, a half-roll of cipher book pages is sitting in a corner. The remaining pages are filled with various ciphers, one of which matches the password format seen in the records room. Unfortunately, it remains incomplete. Okay, so my instinct was correct. We should go right to left. Ship chapel. A chapel included on the ship. Its icon overlooking every guest who visits. Many years ago, sailors once came here to confess their sins and unburden their souls. Now, the only thing that might enter this ornate chapel is the occasional lost sea terror. Search. An icon overlooks every guest who comes here. Before the calamity, the Church of Iberia had already drifted from Lateran orthodoxy. It no longer wished its flock to be shackled by Lateran law, and His Holiness in Laterano seemed unaware of the schism. In the end, the Iberians discovered that only they can bring themselves salvation. The ship's chapel is a typical product of the post-schism era, its icon no longer holding a gun, but instead taking up sword and lantern. The Church of Iberia has already written its own scriptures, and, with the king's support, plans to have a pope of its own. Now that all of this has been reduced to ash, only the Inquisition remains to lead Iberia forward. In the corner of the church lies a row of standard-issue sailor hats, their original owners long gone, hidden beneath the waves. However, this little token of commemoration is enough to prove that there are still those who do not wish to forget them. Under one of the hats is a half-roll of cypherbook pages. The remaining pages are filled with various ciphers, one of which matches with the password format seen in the records room. Unfortunately, it remains incomplete. Command Hole. There's nothing of interest in the hole at this moment, but you're much more interested in the place labeled as Confinement Room. I guess I am. A strange rubbing noise comes from beside your ear. Quickly retreat to the golden corridor and prepare to confront the unknown foe. The records room it is, then. The records room most likely housed all of the Iberian Grand Fleet's confidential files at one point. All sorts of documents related to personnel, deployment plans, and tactical arrangements were sealed away into safes, one by one. Now, they are nothing more than piles of refuse. Search the room! Other than a table, a few chairs, a lamp in the middle of the room, and the safes of various sizes lining up all the way to the ceiling, there are practically no other items here. The person in charge of this place must have been quite organized. Most of the safes haven't been locked, the documents inside them now meaningless. Only one of the larger ones remains firmly shut, requiring a passcode to open. Try to unlock. The heavy safe door slides open, revealing nothing inside except a copy of the ship's personnel files. By reading it, you catch a glimpse of everything the Stultifera has suffered since the calamity. When the silence struck, the massive fleet collided with the terrible waves almost head-on, suffering heavy casualties. When the waves subsided, the Stultifera spent a while trying to find any other ships or survivors out at sea, but with little luck, as its own propulsion system had been damaged. Then the monsters appeared. Within half a month of the calamity, the crew had been reduced by more than half, every inch of the deck stained red with blood. A year later, the ship's supplies ran low, and the remaining 100 crew members began their long struggle. The following records are filled with horrific, appalling words: betrayal, madness, chewing, transformation. 20 years after the calamity, only 16 people remained alive and sane on the ship. Okay, what do we have? Logs. Backpack. Dusty icon. My sincerest apologies, but I must once again reject your proposal. While I deeply appreciate everyone's continued support and have no intention of being excessively modest, Iberia has suffered through a terrible calamity, and we have all seen the royal family and the aristocracy are unable to keep this country functioning. As such, the strength of the Church of Iberia is needed more than ever in our effort to rebuild the nation. However, I am still reluctant to don the papal crown. It is too early to draw lessons from the calamity, but the present turmoil across Iberia has proven that the wealthy and powerful have no way of steering the people in the right direction from their lofty seats. Their positions have made them greedy and complacent, and their focus only on plundering what little wealth remains should be shunned. We cannot repeat their mistakes. We cannot afford to prop up a pope and a few false bishops and hope that they can solve all our problems for good. We must stand at the vanguard, resisting the ocean's invasion with our own bodies, and safeguarding our scarred lands with our very fates. We ought to lift our lanterns to clear the fog from our people's way, and march across the sharp thorns with our bladed in hand. We must punish evil and castigate sin. I propose that starting now, the Church of Iberia be recognized into the Inquisition, and that the 9 present here be named saints. I propose that we give our former names, and from here on out dedicate our lives only to the country, our names becoming synonymous with the country. This may be an overbearing proposal, but it is a burden I hope we can all bear, and that I, Carmen y Iberia, or Carmen 1 Iberia, I think Carmen I Iberia can shoulder this responsibility. Broken Iberian Rapier. How much can a single sword endure? When it was cast, it was already doomed to be thrust through someone's chest. No matter how much it is adorned with honor, etiquette, or respect, the immutable fact is that the sword is an instrument of slaughter and will sooner or later drink blood. Only this time, blood is brought before it differently. When these two people put their lives on the line, what exactly are they searching for, and what keeps them going? Is it love, impulse, or mercy? Perhaps they seek a way to save each other's souls? Perhaps the only way to do so is to destroy one another. Combat! Let's see. Ooh, that's an interesting spot for sure. I think we can still go with the good old setup. Although I might want to swap someone out. You know what? I'm not really using Pluma. But who I will be using is Jay and his silence. Yeah. Silencing Jay. Uh-oh. You mean a bit of a harder stage? We'll see. We'll see how it works. Oh, straight into battle, huh? Okay, I was expecting a little bit of time before it begins. But sure. How do I... To the left, sure. J. Okay, temporarily let's use J. So that we can get some DP from Myrtle. Sure. I need a healer, but with Jay I can't really get him. Get her, actually. Yeah, that'll cover everybody. Ah, fuck. Yeah. Let's restart. I think instead of Myrtle, I need like a 2-block Vanguard first. Or perhaps aside from Myrtle. I'm gonna swap out Gavial for Siege? Sure, Siege. Let's go Siege. The rest seems fine at a glance. Although maybe... I don't have Colosseum built up. That's a problem. Okay, I'm actually gonna place Myrtle here, so that she can just stay there permanently. Open directly with Lappy. Thorns. I need some damage on this side. Healing. Let's prepare Saria to also provide some healing. Let's put Siege on the left. And Spalter on the right. Nether Brand starts appearing, I see. Okay, Myrtle, you're out. Where do I place you? Here. Fuck, no, it's... Ah! Okay, I'm not gonna get 3 stars for that. So let's continue, let's see what else is going to happen. Something got spawned in the nook on the left. Spectre already fucking died. That was quick. And a weird doggo has appeared. And it died. Who died? Spectre, not Spectre. Fucking Chalter died. Okay, so the weird doggo evolved. I think, or it's a new enemy. Fuck. Oh, I can't place J here. What is going on right now? That was interesting. Huh. Chelsea Runner, Nethersea Founder, spawns Nethersea Brand. Directed evolution increases res. Nethersea Predator cannot be blocked on Nethersea Brand. And gains physical and arts dodge, which can be disabled by Lappy, for example. Nethercy Brand Guider also spreads Nethercy Brand. Regressed Brand Guider gains increased def and block requirement. And oh, so this is the evolving thing that's like super weak that can evolve somehow. Disappears for a short time before evolving into its next form, gaining the following effects in turn. Increased defense, movement speed, attack, lifesteal. Consumes the remains of its seaborn kin, gaining their corresponding directed evolution ability in the next evolutionary phase, while also instantly defeating any operators near the remains and preventing them from being redeployed for a period of time. Fuck! How do you deal with this? Especially since I only have J and Lapland as far as silence is concerned. Well, I technically do have Colosseum, but Colosseum is level 1. Do I need like more defenders? Maybe. Instead of J, do I take like Madrock? And place her somewhere instead of Siege. Do I take Texas for the stun? And maybe instead of Spalter, Kelsey with true damage monster? I'm gonna be short on DP, I fear. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of Blue P. No, I have Texas and Myrtle. I shouldn't be short on DP. I do have a clearing Roomba. Yeah, Hand of the Saint Purification. Right, I can clear some of those spots, I guess, and maybe that will help. Hopefully it'll help. Okay, Myrtle. Texas. Do those that can get through, that can be silenced, do they only appear from the right, or do they only appear, or do they also appear from the left? I can't remember. I'm gonna try Lappy to the right. Thorns to the left. Monster. Healing. I'm gonna try Mud up here. Fuck. Saria. And clean it up. Stun. DP. clean it up. Motherfuckers. Do I need like a second healer? What do I do? What do I do? Thorn? Okay, it would be great if I could get rid of those markers or whatever they are. Okay, this one disappeared for a moment, but we know it's only for a moment. Texas, I believe in you. Okay. Now Texas and Monster die. Texas dies, but I still have Saria. It just stunned Madrock, and it's just going through. Not giving a fuck about anything, ever. How do I deal with that? How do I kill it so quickly and so early? Chalter? Instead of thorns up there, do I just use Chalter? I wish I knew the stats of this thing. Okay, let's try Chalter instead of thorns. And if not, I guess I'm gonna have to wait until I can raise Suitor. A lot of possibilities, you say. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with Suitor, honestly. Not Suitor. With Chalter. Maybe on 1 time speed as well. Now, Madrock up here seems like a good choice. She can take a beating. Let's clean up. Okay, Thorns is holding on. You can go away. Q Chalter. Yeah, I don't know why Chalter is so busted. I mean, I know why. Busted units sell better. Let's be honest here. Okay, clean slate. Now we wait for those to arrive around the corner, so they only kill Thorns. Yeah, I'm waiting. There you go. Clean up. And I think I'm just gonna have to return Thorns, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, in the Lord Chalter is weaker. Because instead of using her familiar sword, she gets to use a... whatchamacallit? A water gun. I did play through the Solace. Through the Solace event. Okay. That's monster gone. Thorns survived. Chalter. Go. Texas, you're out. I need a second healer to keep Chalter alive. Okay, motherfucker is not taking damage. No, Chalter is stunned. It's not taking damage. It's not taking damage from Chalter. What the fuck? Does it also have dodge? And I need to silence it with Lappy. Or with Jay, or with someone. Not using Bloopy. So I'm gonna grab Jay. With silence. E1 Chen alters sprite. Oh, you mean the early E1 art looking like Blaze? Oh no, do you mean the Tallulah keychain? Yeah, I did see the Tallulah keychain. I'm gonna place Lappy like this, I think. Yeah, so when the enemy is on top of Mudrock, it can get silenced. Sure. Thorns, like usual. Calcium monster. I'm gonna try Mulberry this time around, not Honeyberry. We'll see if she maybe does better. She's not leveled up as much as her sister, but... on the off chance. Madrock. Thorns, live! I'm gonna clean up some of the Nether Brand for you. Okay, Thorns lives. True damage. Oh, boss gains buffs based on the first bubble enemy I defeat. Okay. Interesting. Now, if only I remembered what those buffs were exactly. That's the problem. Okay, last cleanup. I'm all out of Roombas. Yeah, I see. The left one has a different buff and the right one has a different buff. Kind of sad that you can't just tap on the monster to see their traits. Staff gives defense. Okay, so I'm gonna try to defeat the left one first, maybe. Okay, left one died first. Since Chen doesn't deal arts damage, she deals physical. Yeah, she deals physical damage. Okay, take you down and place another medic. And I'm out of Roombas, which sucks very much. Thankfully, true damage goes through the dodge. Ah, fuck. And I have no way of clearing the Nether Brand. Lappy! Yes! Ah, fuck. That was close. Why is it not taking damage? You were taking damage all this time. Why are you not taking damage now? Okay, it's taking damage. Good. Now defeat those two. Yes! Ah. That feels good. Whew. Oh boy. That feels good. My hands hurt now from the clapping. I see it. I see Alfonso heading to the Great Hole every day. He's named it Iberia. He's moved the mirror from his bedroom to the hole and spends day after day examining himself. Ever since the head chef and young Jamie were executed, he and I are the only ones left. There you are. How long was I asleep? Feels like I barely got any rest before I found myself awake. Not long, but no need to force yourself. I know it hurts when you talk. Slowly, monsters leave plenty of blood behind, so let's use that to write instead. I nod. In the corner are buckets filled with the blood of our quarry. Time passes too slowly. I barely slept at all, but my dreams felt even longer than all the decades behind us. Is it time we gave up then? It's been a long, long while since young Jamie and the old chef left us. Should we follow them? We should give up. My consciousness blurs more and more, like the feeling of being entangled right before waking up from a dream. It is not just my flesh that is changing, but everything about me, everything that makes me a living being. We should give up. We should end ourselves before we're devoured. The infinite, boundless ocean, the sea breeze, the waves, the whispers. Chief mate, this is our ship, our ideals. Sooner or later we'll lose even the strength to walk, but that won't happen to her, not the Stultifera Navis. That cigar-chomping engineer was right. Even if we all die, the ship will never sink. Today, it's just another 24 hours in one long unending day. Scroll some words using the blood of sea terrors. Don't give up. Look at what you've become. Can't even see your blue eyes anymore. Wouldn't you rather be set free? I'm your chief mate. For your sake. Hush, easy now. Thank you, Garcia. No matter what you turn into, the bond between us will never change. But I know. He's looking at the mirror, because even someone as strong as him has finally succumbed to the monsters. We have consumed their flesh and blood. At first we started fires to cook them, then we were forced to devour them raw. Even the most powerful inquisitors were awed by Alfonso's strength. He was the object of so many young sailors' admiration. There was nothing he couldn't do. But he has held on long enough. Soon he too will become one of the monsters. He's worried, he's furious. If he cannot even tolerate the slightest monster within him, how can he tolerate me? Trash. You're worth even less than the weed that washed ashore in Salviento. That woman was merely creating a smokescreen. The ocean boasts no changes to speak of. Gladia, I want to see. Are you free? Friends are here. They're trapped, need help. Should be returned to our kin's embrace. Many friends have died here, but parents will not let them die. I must save them. Even if you can speak with that ugly mug of yours, that's no surprise to anyone. Return to the Great Sea. No need to fight. We go together. I've already grown tired of your prattling. Time to end you. Gladia, will you prey on me? If you feed on me, will that make you stronger? More full of life? Will it help the scales on your neck grow and spread and return you to your proper form? Abyssal hunters are bound by blood. The Seaborn controls its relatively slender form. It is biting of parts of its own body. I sever this flesh. Consume it. If you need more, I give you more. I will give you everything. Gladia stares blankly at the fleshy mass on the ground. She is shaken, but not because of the Seaborn or its behavior. However, this moment of destruction convinces the Seaborn that Gladia has accepted its proposal. We will meet again soon. The Seaborn leaves. The Gladia does not pursue it. Because she smells the scents of shark and scadi, the Seaborn will not escape. She turns around and heads towards where another smell is coming from. The smell of the sea and of blood. The smell of hunters aboard the ship, and I didn't notice it until it got this close. Impossible. What do we do now? Never expected there'd be people alive here. I thought we'd get the ship back just by killing some sea terrors. The captain made it sound so simple. What are you looking at, Spectre? The mirror? Did you know, Scotty, even as we speak, when I look at myself in this mirror, I start to remember so many things that I'd forgotten. A darkened dome, 100-meter tall sculpture, an aquamarine-colored opera hall, a waterfall pouring crystals on ice. What is this place, Scotty? Your home. My home? I remember now. Writhing flesh climbing all over that statue. It collapses with a thunderous thud. I remember these things, but I've never experienced them. Dunno. I only know it from hearing you talk about where you used to live, which fell into ruin long ago, long before I met you. Maybe you only saw the report later on. Can we save the chatter for some other time? Were we planning to chase down those two seaborn, or are we seizing control of the ship while they're not around and sailing it back? If the survivors haven't managed in 60 years, somehow I doubt we could figure it out ourselves. Just be patient. The squad leader will figure something out. Ugh. Spectre, what's wrong? Just a little dizzy. I just remembered what they did to me. Wait. I saw her just now in Gran Faro. She was willing to talk to me. She was full of hypocrisy, blowing hot and cold, but she's here. What? You mean more survivors? No, an enemy. One who can cross the sea and board this vessel, which is more than enough to identify them. Let's split up. Where will you go? I am an Iberian Inquisitor. It is my duty to ensure that this ship returns to Iberia's hands. I'll go after Alfonso. Yeah. Oh, don't you worry, Garcia. We'll catch up soon enough. When those ignorant Aegir wanted it went up through Victoria and past Bolivar. From there, it could only climb up onto the deck, then dive into the sea. His ship is not at its beck and call. Lithuanian. When we were young, we visited that country along with some other officers. You still remember? The twisted faces of those Kurfürsten were enough to turn stomachs. But I understood how to respect arts, which was a mind-boggling revelation. Today's been a good day. I saw quite a few living people. Hope they get out quickly, though. Go to Lithuanian, Garcia. Go play this course you used to love so much. Breathe some life into the hunt, my love. You are not scaleless. Do you need food? Sufficient nutrition, but these waters are still incomplete. The cycle has not yet been built, and living things die in vain. We must hurry. Why? Hunting meaningless. There's something we must do, a duty to our kin. How many does that make now? Lost track after 10. When do you monsters learn how to talk? Oh, now I remember you, little one. When we ate your parents, you and your litter were nearby, watching. Back then, you were the weakest of the lot. Pathetic runt. Alfonso laughs as he pokes at the seaborn's wound, blood running along the tip of his blade and dripping onto the floor. We are bound by blood. You hunt and eat us. You will become us, just as our parents hunted you, and then became hunted by you. If the right conditions can trigger your evolution, then how do we make you more palatable? Your flesh, that is. To hunt is to survive. There's no good or evil in the hunt. That's too bad, then. The scent trail ends here. He led me here. The smell. Gladia does not search for the hunter's whereabouts. She begins to look around her. Ever since she boarded this vessel, her surroundings have filled her with a sense of nostalgia. The materials, the decorations, the handiwork. Breogan, a genius from the Academy of Sciences, was an Aegir, without a doubt. This was his domain. The mystery behind why the ship hadn't sunk in decade was itself the message Breogan wanted to leave to the Aegir, a brand new fusion of originium and terrestrial technologies. But what exactly is it? Gladia grasps the key from her bosom. She sizes up her surroundings. Breogan, where did you hide your secrets? Why would this ship be built like a palace? Most of it is decorative, and there are even sculptures. No, that's not all. Both the sculptures and the patterned carpets have been cleaned, even under these conditions. Interesting how the lighting fixture on the ceiling gives Irene a halo. Actually, that's worth of a screen cap. She's a Blue Archive character now. She has a halo. Or she's a, not Laterano, a Sancta. A sound of music wafts from the distance. Did I get it all? Yeah. Someone's playing the piano? It's coming from over here. Irene's footsteps slow down. At the end of the corridor, through a crack in the door, she sees a single Seaborn slapping away at a dilapidated old piano. It's that Seaborn that was next to Alfonso, but what is it doing here? Cheerfully slaps at the piano. What a ruckus. It's just pounding away at a keyboard with no rhyme or reason. Alfonso isn't here. Did he go after the Seaborn? Why is his chief mate here alone, then? Well, I won't worry about it for now. The seashore. Oh, the seashore. What? That melody just now, was that a coincidence? It certainly looks like it's only randomly smashing the keys. Now, it stopped? The seashore, oh, the seashore. Farewell to heroes and great men. Hiss. The chief mate turns its head in fear. Fear is what Irene sees in its behavior. A massive, inexplicable physical reaction, one that's never been displayed in front of a hunter before. Just now, you weren't just randomly hitting keys? That passage you played, an Iberian military song, you... how? You're still conscious. Do you still have memories of being human? Do you know who you are? But no, you're already fully transformed. The Inquisition has dealt with cultists like that before. There's no reversing it. What are you planning? What are you doing with your hand? Carefully places its hand atop Irene's head. Ah, headpats for the burb. Headpats for the best bird. What is the meaning of this? Through the scraps of cloth reminiscent of a wedding veil, the Seaborn known as the chief mate, watches Irene. Its pupils are cloudy. It is suffering. It is filled with both affection and nostalgia. If you truly retain a shred of your humanity, but how, after all these years? Captain, what's happening? Wait. Hand, feed, but that is not what you are doing. Your goal is constantly changing, shaking, yes, shaking. Tch. You should just keep playing your piano, Garcia. You don't need to be touching these. Lightly shakes head. Ha! Then sink your teeth into it. Its body is changing. Finish it now. You are not hungry. Why? Alfonso doesn't answer the Seaborn's question. He simply chomps and hacks at it again and again like meat on a cutting board. The chief mate bites down on the Seaborn in a death grip. Its crown falls on the ground during the struggle, but it does not care to pick it up. Alfonso cuts off the Seaborn's tentacles, which join the crown on the ground. The chief mate paused for a moment. Ah, Garcia. Look at your crown and that tentacle. Do you understand what you've become now? Leave. We will meet again. Garcia! The chief mate lifts its head, but the Seaborn has already vanished without a trace. It quietly picks up its crown and places it back on its head before returning to Alfonso's side. As if apologizing, it gently grabs his hand. Are you hurt, my good chief mate? Or were you distracted by our uninvited guests? The chief mate does not answer. It dares not speak. It dares not say that when it was biting down into the enemy, it felt like it was tearing into its own kin. It dares not speak, and after once again realizing what it has become, it begins to feel guilt. If you still have room for emotions in your heart, then that is proof enough that you're still human. Remember young Jamie's last words. I have no remorse, no regrets, and no fear. And when you truly feel nothing, will you lose the right to call yourself human? Don't worry, the next hunt will be quick, and as always, it will return. Nods. What's wrong? Lightly shakes head. Herald? Kin, scaleless? You are badly wounded. A newborn like you should not have been in a hurry to board this ship. Kin are here, in need of help. Indeed, true enough, but you've been hurt. Though they are kin, they do not welcome you. They have not yet accepted their identity. They are still lost and confused. Accept identity? You do not need to understand. These waters are still incomplete. Perhaps you will have to further perfect yourself before you can lead our entire kind. Need time and nutrition. And I've come to give you both. That blasphemous sea captain slaughtered seafarers for food, but used every means available to hinder the transformation. He's absorbed pieces of the cycle, yet refuses to be a part of it. The flesh and blood of those offspring rightfully belonged to you. Those nutrients were meant to be yours. This ship has delayed the birth of a brand new ecosystem. Please do not abandon me, Herald. In due time, all of Terra will become one and the same with the nest. I do not abandon kin. I need time, but not much more. I will be back. We will meet again. I could have sworn you were going to rush over and kill us. Should I be thanking you, Ulpianus? I can kill something like whenever I want. I can kill something like that whenever I want. It's even weaker than Quintus. How patient of you. Gladia also tried to infiltrate the Church of the Deep in Salviento, hoping to get something out of them. Of course she was a poor fit given her personality. And here I was thinking that none of you were a good fit. Or are you saying you're special? You're getting less and less tight-lipped of late. I suppose there's really no rhyme or reason for when you decide to keep quiet, Ulpianus. Don't use my given name so casually, Liberi. You don't understand the weight behind it. We are enemies. Oh, we both know you've already abandoned that notion deep in your heart. Of course you might still hold some enmity, like a lost and famished traveler who stumbles on a frozen, starving, mangled beast in the mountains. Did whatever Brogan left behind satisfy your imagination? Far from it. The Seaborn have existed for even longer than the Aegir. For their history to be turned upside down, there must be something behind it. If you care about the word of God, then so be it. The Seaborn are not gods, nor are their forefathers. I have seen how your gods die, their screams cursing through the currents, their flesh and blood smeared across abyssal ravines. And as the clan hovered overhead, I plunged into the unknown depths of Aegir's territory. I have seen it with my own eyes, enough to shatter all the beliefs I held thus far. Afterwards, I will rebuild it. Aegir will be lifted up once more. Oh, that took a while. That took a hot moment. Brand new areas are unlocked. La 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 la. A room and confinement room. A room enclosed by iron fencing. From the text on the sign, it used to be a solitary confinement cell, but now it will clearly never perform that function again. The cell has been breached from the inside, with the fence torn apart and its broken iron bars strewn across the ground. Search meticulously. Unexpectedly, there's a desk in the confinement room with an unfinished letter sitting on top of it. The letter is dripping with a suspicious mucus that closely resembles the Nethercy brand, but seems to have already dried up with the passage of time. The top half of the letter is still relatively clean, appearing to be addressed to the writer's family. He repeatedly expressed his longing for them and his guilt for no longer being able to be with them. As the dripping mucus increased, the handwriting became more and more messy. The writer indicated that he would soon go home to see their children and would bring them lots of presents. The rest of the letter was almost completely covered in mucus, and only a few words such as ocean and return can be made out. The last line written on the letter is extremely neat. We are one. Maintenance access. In the maintenance access corridor, a special device can be found leaning against the wall, marked with the Aegirian letters, incremental motion firmware. It seems to fit into one of the slots on Little Handy. Hard to imagine how things can be used to help people exercise. During the Stultifera Navis event, obtain a total of 900 rusted compasses. Chain locker. The anchor system was completely destroyed during the profound silence, and this cabin has been empty for many years. However, someone seems to have turned this place into their own secret stash, leaving behind quite a few glittering things. A little handy. Incremental motion firmware. Oh, +1 block to the operators, or increases the duration of stun, cold, and frozen inflicted by operators. I'm gonna go for +1 block, since some of the enemies do seem to gain like increased block requirements. Logs. Surviving the hunt, pursuing the fleeing seaborn. Tidal records, abyssal ravings. Okay, set it as the BGM, why not? And in the backpack we have a slimy letter. This is the 1172nd letter I've written to you. All the previous ones are still in my drawer, for unfortunately I have no way of sending them to you. However, this might really be my last. I've locked myself in the confinement room now. 2 days ago, little Reina also jumped into the ocean, bless her. The rest is crossed out. A large section of words have been crossed out. Sorry, I can't control myself. How are you all doing? I am blessed. Scribbles. I owe you so much, so much. Maybe you'll have something to be proud of me as well. After all, I almost managed to hold on. I hung on for over 30 years. You can't even imagine how hard it's been. Fortunately, several blotches of dark ink. I almost managed to hold on, but fell short in the end. I miss all of you so much. How many times have I written these words? But enough of that, because we'll be able to see each other again soon enough. I'll be home soon. I'll give you all a big hug and bring you souvenirs from the journey. Crazed scribbling. I once served on a great ship defending, crossed out, Iberia. My children, I'll be bringing back presents. What do you want? Maybe the following portion is illegible. I will continue to hold on. I will continue to hold on. Incremental motion firmware. Manual. The incremental motion firmware component, after being assembled into your little handy, will show you the joys of exercise. A robust body is able to house discerning thoughts, and a replete spirit can nourish a pure soul. Replete spirit, yeah. The walls of the Institute of Technology and Academy of Science were never meant to restrain you from your running freely. If you feel that your body is too weak to keep up with your surging thoughts, please make good use of this. Exercise in moderation unless you want to wake up with muscle pain in the middle of the night. And now we have a story. But before that, I'm gonna spend some rusted compasses on Lumen's token and maybe module data blocks. Phew. Another bit of story, huh? There's no road ahead as far as the eye can see. Eyes can see. It's here. He led me here and uncovered his scent. Seems he's learned a handful of tricks from his time on land. Gladia looks all around her. She knows that someone once considered a friend is watching her closely. But she does not hesitate, nor does she have the luxury to hesitate. She must retrieve the secrets of this ship as quickly as possible and return them to Aegir. She wishes to return to her home. She wishes to offer it her aid, to avert calamity. She looks at the key in her hands. She swings open the door to the treasury. Meanwhile, in I forgot the name of this place. burning away all the Nethercy brand is no small feat. I really ought to thank Kelsey and that jet-black creature of hers. The Nethercy brand was unable to devour this reef. How unfortunate. Yet this is but one of myriad forms. You have not heard the prophecy, so you would not understand. Prophecy? Do you think yourselves more than a band of refugees clinging to unknown life forms? What sort of future did you expect? Our prophet is nothing like you. She never paints images of a false future, nor does she make promises she cannot fulfill. She spoke thusly, that countless massive scales shall merge into one and fly into the vast expanse, that the ocean will be smeared with light, forever growing, never drying up, that life and death will disappear and merge into a single entity, and at that time even the false cosmos will be unable to eclipse the light of life. We shall all live in that ecosystem. We are all part of its magnificent cycle. Life is born, is given purpose, seeks worth, and disappears, only for the cycle to begin anew. Sounds a whole lot like the sort of elaborate hallucination that can be cooked up by Originium arts. It's pushing Iberia to its current precipice, and slaughtering billions of lives also part of your magnificent cycle. What do you possibly know? Our kin does not consider the death of an individual to be an end. Even when a life ends, it remains part of the cycle. You are angry, you are listless, and above all, you are only human heretic. You won't take me alive, Inquisitor. I know all about your heinous Originium arts. We're all prepared to make the greater sacrifice. Our prophet will remain as out of reach to you as time itself slipping through your fingertips. High Inquisitor, everyone in Gran Fara has long held a grudge against you people. The Penal Battalion cannot approach this place, and you are alone. There's nowhere for you to run. Run? Did you think we came here to entertain your sophistry about good and evil? Punt. He's not saying anything. This Iberian's a damn imbecile. That black monster must have some kind of weakness. It's extremely durable and can burn the Nethercy brand with ease. What the hell is that thing? If you don't tell us, then by the time the Penal Battalion breaks free, we'll have already lost. You can't even handle Dr. Kelsey and the Inquisitor. Admit it, you've already lost. Shut up! I'm gonna make you... Wait, what are you doing? Why is your staff moving around? What did you do? Guess you spent so much time researching tentacle monsters that you forgot what Originium arts are? Seriously, get your head out of the clouds. Gah, you self-righteous bastard. You think we haven't made ample precautions? Do you have any idea how long we waited to flush out all the scum colluding with the Inquisition? Don't fall for his tricks. He's been hiding in this town for months now. Definitely a spy and one well-versed in communications to boot. There's a chance our position has already been compromised. Spies, of course, the Inquisition's spies have been lurking among us since long ago. I knew about you people because you never tried to hide it, and Amiya and I are close. But the Inquisition is different. They already don't like us, and if they wanted to hide, how do we even know? How would we ever know? After all, we've been nothing but laborers for generations. Throw him out then and feed him to our kin. The Nethercy brand's growth is slowing down, and we need more nutrients to stop the Penal Battalion. We should also find an escape route. Alright, I'll lead the way. Nobody's more familiar with this town than me, and we've left plenty of secret passages and underground depots. You shouldn't be doing this, Thiago. How long have we known each other? And now you're gonna preach to me, you platitude-spewing zealot. Stand up and walk. Time to become a part of the sea. I see. A union of Originium and agri-technology, a sturdier dome, the use of modules from nomadic cities on land, and the scalability of Originium arts. So this is how the genius of the Academy of Sciences viewed this land. And he managed to accomplish all this decades ago. However, it's still not enough. Oh, you're approaching me? Menacing. Aegir would be able to accomplish all this even without making contact with land. The integration of certain technologies cannot make the difference between victory and defeat. I knew it. It's you. I wish it weren't, though, Ulpianus. Stay back, Gladia. Take another step and I'll run you through my old comrade in arms. Skadi once thought herself the last of the Abyssal Hunters. Even she had thought you dead, yet here you are. How insightful of you, Consul Gladia. The circumstances don't seem to call for pomp and ceremony, Consul Ulpianus. Feeling a bit nostalgic over titles long disused, are we? We've known each other long enough. You should know very well what it means when a hunter doesn't return. I've executed no fewer than you, and I can assure that if any survivors have sunken into the abyss, I'd still hang them up to bake on the reefs before they ever got a chance to hear that song. What about now? You reek of their scent. You've become one of them. Don't lie to yourself, Gladia. You are strict with others, but even more so with yourself. Has wandering the land sufficiently satisfied your desire to torment yourself? Hunter, I will kill you if your answers don't satisfy me. Gladia, most of this situation is largely out of your hands. I'm forced to approach the problem from a different angle. What situation? I, like you, have spent some time on land, but what I saw was different. Did you come to understand the civilizations on land? No, you don't need to answer that, Gladia, the ever arrogant. For their civilizations to survive, they tapped into Originium. It brought them opportunity and hope, but it also unprecedented calamity. To this day, they still have not fully analyzed its principles. I have witnessed many tragedies. They've given them the name catastrophes. They are foolish, ignorant, and weak, but the way they struggle and die is still harrowing. And the Aegir are no different. You were never the sentimental in the past? No, sentiment has nothing to do with this. What I'm saying is, Aegir provoked the ocean in order to survive, and the ocean devoured it in return. Then, ocean gave birth to us. We are products of a grotesque struggle. If we are unable to resolve this problem at its root, then we are unable to resolve it at all. What did you see, Ulpianus? What did you see to make you abandon the bonds of blood and the camaraderie we shared in battle? Sanctuary. No doubt that is what those filthy cultists would have called it. Your familiarity with them only reduces my trust in you. But the world is an apt description. You know what Aegir once found in the depths of the ocean? Even if you aren't a historian, a general education should have covered at least this. Thousands of years ago, we reached the heart of the ocean. There we found the point of origin, the cradle of civilization. As far as I know, Gladia, he and the seaborn in the deepest recesses of their nest. I saw it, a construct. No, not even the greatest science consuls of Aegir would have been able to make sense of what I saw. I was unable to go deeper as my injuries were too severe. My blood boiled, my ears rang, but I still felt... What? The plurality of him. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? Is there a Jesus at the bottom of the ocean on Terra? Well, that doesn't even slightly explain why you abandoned the team. You should have brought this information back. When millions of cries returned to a single point, the unhatched seaborn all murmured the same name from within their differently shaped sacks. Isharmla. Or rather, Skadi. Jesus, that's a good pun. Did it escape into the sea? No matter, it will return and will continue to wait. Whoever decided that we were its kin, pathetic. I see it too. The waves breaking unnaturally like a twister, or a mirage of an ocean city. What a strange sight. Pah, it sure was lively today. Haven't had this much commotion since young Jamie and the chef died. Pomegranate flower. Knight, I wasn't expecting to see you back so soon. Did you come rushing to my ship because you missed the scent of your hometown? Have you gone completely mad yet? The knight simply stares at Alfonso in silence, but almost immediately his sight fixates once again upon the ocean. Alfonso follows his gaze, and through the years in which time itself has become nebulous, day and night have already lost all meaning. Are still hunting the terrible waves. I sure hope the blood of these monsters hasn't made you immortal. You can look forward to drowning one day. What a joyous thing. Not a whole lot of wind today. Waves are the ocean's breath. It still has not stopped breathing. It has not died, just like the monsters on land. They devour, destroy. And monsters on land. Civilization. Okay, he doesn't like civilization. Pity, it's a fun game. Scotty? I just remembered something else. How did we manage to survive? How did you survive? I can't remember the details. We hacked and we slashed again and without pause until finally he... what I mean was, if they really wanted us dead back then, would we have been able to survive? Let me put it another way. Aegir doesn't know we're alive either. They have no way of knowing. Was it Swordfish who said she wanted to come to this ship? Yes. She said this ship could bring us home. This does seem to be Aegir craftsmanship, though the shipwright, Brennogan, the name doesn't ring a bell. You never did remember the scientists' names, do you? It's such a relief even talking to you like this. Are you back for good, Laurentina? You won't leave us again, will you? Do you have to be so cheesy about it? I've also been with you. Things just got a bit blurry in the middle there. Shouldn't that be I've always been with you? I've always been with you. Things just got a bit blurry in the middle there. Plus, it's kind of fun playing the part of a well-behaved nun. Oh, but the captain had this outfit specially made for me by our friends over at Rhodes Island. She already knew my measurements even. To be honest, you grew a bit taller. Wait, how do you know that? I was only helping out. The captain said she didn't trust the tastes of the landwalkers. Taste? We both know that's the last thing she cares about. Though at least I can appreciate how she always makes sure these details are in place. She said you like long dresses, and I did always have that impression, but I rarely do these tailoring activities. Huh? Ah, these symbols, they're Aegirian letters. We wrote them together. They talk about you, about Gladia, about me, about Aegir, our home. Whose idea was this? Couldn't have been mine, right? We all came up with this together. What about the style? Swordfish picked it. How unlike her. We have to dedicate ourselves to battle. Sure, but no reason I can doll myself up before the hunt, right? Scotty, do you know what the first thought was when I emerged from my stupor and remembered who I am? What? It was to re-examine myself, to see how different I was from that clear but distant memory of myself and the other side of the shore. I know from my... yeah. They very much are giving me the similar vibe to the followers. Just sometimes randomly doing a nice, friendly cuddle pile just because. Because they're friends like that, purely platonic, nothing else going on, for sure. They were roommates. Though I was dressed as a good little nun last time, I didn't particularly mind. But now that my trusty companions have chosen my outfit for me, that makes me even happier. Can you understand how I feel? Definitely better than when you woke up in a jar in Salviento. Haha, that's for sure. So that's why we're going to win over Mr. Captain right now, yes? Leave it to me. No, impossible. Misharmla. When I sunk into the trench along with the Titan's corpse, enduring a pressure that no ordinary Aegir could bear, I saw something I'd never seen before. Gladia, you know why Aegir distances itself from the land. You know the many theorems as to why Originium and catastrophes cannot invade us. Most of them have been proven correct. The ocean is like a petri dish, nourishing and protecting the purity of Aegir. But what if the civilization we're so proud of is nothing more than mold growing on the back of some giant? You were always exceptionally inquisitive, a quality that allowed you to make contributions in various fields, sowing the seeds for great breakthroughs. But to slander Aegir, you've changed so much I hardly recognize you. Plus, you should know the boundaries of what is appropriate. Your speculation about Skadi, you levy the cruelest of accusations against your fellow hunter. Seaborn is just a broad catch-all name. As you know, their morphology is significantly more complex. You've been concerned that Skadi might become an even higher form of them, have you not? First and foremost, I am concerned that you've chosen the wrong path. The first company and the fourth company perished along the way, one after the other, to create an opportunity for us to break through. And you, the second company, stayed near the nest's entrance. It seemed wrong to even describe it as a nest. We'd entered a vast singular entity where we were nothing more than tiny germs. There is something fucky-wacky going on with the translations. I don't know why, but it just is. Just a moment. No. Sorry, I need to do something on my phone real quick. Okay, done. But germs are more than capable of killing a healthy person. And we were successful, or so we led ourselves to believe. I simply fell into a deep sleep along with his corpse. Blood, if that luminous substance could even be called that, had drenched my whole body and enveloped me. But I simply slumbered with his corpse for a long, long time. I hid in the crevices of his empty shell, leaning against the remnants of his flesh, until all sounds around me fell silent. But what about Skadi? It was she who dealt the final blow. That was not a normal killing, nor was it a hunt. It was feeding, a feeding of their kind. Their conjecture is both correct and faulty. Did you assume that all hunters will eventually lose control and become seaborn? No, not Skadi. We already understand. Those who've witnessed him, those of us who sank into the trench and floated back up, all understand. You mean to say that if anything goes wrong, we must kill her? She's your hunter. You still haven't offered an explanation for your deliberate cover-up and betrayal, and you would have me trust your speculation like this? I'm not keen on your habit of staying silent. Maybe I'll have to take away your mobility and drag you back to Aegir. A pity that one of our consuls might finally fall in battle. Could harm morale. Let's see you try. Gladia, how can you still claim to represent Aegir when you are so distraught about your own transformation? This is an opportunity. I don't expect your assistance or even understanding, but some of us cannot afford to pass up this opportunity. Only by uncovering the truth do we have a chance at survival. And how's that related to what you're doing? You came for the ship, I came for Breogan. I've already made a breakthrough. Breogan's evidence corroborates what I've seen. Truly an amazing man, to think he arrived at these same conclusions in that era under those conditions. Those by your side, you already understand that only they are truly valuable. None of the land dwellers will ever understand, and thus he died in solitude. I wouldn't say that nobody understands, but... For someone as strong and resolute as yourself, how many times have you said but? We are colleagues. Together, we were the architects of this war. We should trust in each other more. A final word of advice. Don't return to Aegir. It is too soon, too dangerous, too many things we haven't straightened out. Going back now is wasted effort, and you do not know what has become of it. Remain on land. Should something happen, of course, she is my hunter. I will shoulder the responsibility. Gladia wants to say something else, but when she turns her head, a tremendous cracking sound spreads through every corner of the room. A violent shuddering follows, and the truth, filling the table, is scattered across the ground, seeming to steer her vision. Leviathan. Before the chief designers of warfare proposed the Abyssal Hunters' plan, before the Abyssal Hunters delved into their nest, Breogan chose a title that the foolish land dwellers are obsessed with to this day. He wanted to thoroughly elucidate the nature of calamities. He thought the last piece of the puzzle on land. My key, smell of wheat, homeland. My homeland supports me. My family supports me. Until I crush the ocean. The two hunters look at the brooding night. Gladia clenches the key in her hand. Then take a look at this monster. Take a good look. He appears human, but is not human. Even the ocean skin rejected him. Day in and day out, he searches for the terrible waves and seeks to quash them. An endless, futile pursuit. Just like us. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna get to the first story or the first battle, and I'm not gonna engage. I'm gonna end it right there. My jaw hurts from talking so much. Comrades in arms, old friends, enemies. Before all this, they were simply survivors. They were simply a couple of JoJos. Main bridge. Oh, it's fuck, a second story node in a row. The Cyborg never see their own as enemies. This is a behavior unique to humans. Proof. And I guess this is what we're gonna see in this story. Kind of a bummer that it's like spoiling those scenes before you finish the story node. How do we prove that there are still parts of us that can be considered human? By doing what only humans can do. And a new log. Phew. Stultifera Navis is exhausting. So incredibly exhausting. I still have 9 days to complete it. Well, not complete it fully. I honestly don't think I'm going to play through the EX stages. They seem like way too much pain in the ass. And this is the very first run of this event, so I always have the chance to gain my medals on a later date. Yeah, I'm just gonna farm some of those stages that we completed. And yeah. Oh, EX also has story. Okay, I'm gonna play as far into the EX as I can then. Okay, I'm gonna try to pull for Irene as a finishing touch. Oh! 6-star. Well, I'm glad I decided to do this pull. Please be Irene. Please don't be Spolter, old dupe. Is it multiple 6-stars that I see? Oh, Brailgun stuff. Gotcha. Scavenger, click. Perfumer. Windflit. Mayor. Oh, surprising. I thought the only 5 stars on this banner are Windflit. Mer. Todifons, hello. I think that's gonna be like first pot for her. Merle. Merle. Another 5-star. Bloopy. Okay, that's cool. And the 6-star is... Motherfucker! Spalter dupe. Are you for real? Are you for real? Irene! Well, I still have for one more pool, but I'm gonna withhold that. Hey, cheaper Bloopy, that's good. Cheaper Spalter, I guess that's also fine. Faster Toddy. And faster Mayor. Well, yeah, got Shark instead of Tuna. I wonder if I should spend the rest of my Originium even pulling for Irene. She's not limited, so I can always pull for her again at a later date. She can still reappear in some other banner. She can still spook me in regular pulls. Because there's still a couple more limiteds that I kinda do want to pull for. So I wonder if I should start saving up. Yeah, 600 sanity, because my potions were expiring. So I had to swap them out. Sure, Kelsey. Swap them out. I had to use them up. I'm gonna spend it all now farming Stultifera Navis. Sure, Babel, why not? Castle, Click, and Cruz. No, she has an altar already involved. Vermeil? Vermeil, why not? Okay, reception room. Got some clues. Enough for... yeah, enough for a clue exchange. And I'm already having a clue exchange. Sure, why not? Having friends really helps. Oh, and if you didn't know how to add me in the game, that's my, like, ID. 3032. And just hashtag 3032. Oh no, not gonna buy anything more. Certificates. 66 distinctions. You know what, I'm gonna grab myself Aurora. Why not? She's cute. There we go. Do I spend on a pool? I spend on a pool. Fuck it, one last pool and we're ending this. No, two actually. I have two singles. 4-star. Ropu. And a 3-star. Popcar. Aurora. What's her skin again? Oh, Polar Explorer. Yeah, it does look good. It does look good. Although, midriff. That's a choice one has to make. A tactical orange skin or midriff. That's not a choice that many people are able to make easily. Okay. So, let's turn on the music. Or maybe... True, you can always switch. Hunter... It's a JoJo scene, and it's named Hunter x Hunter. Are you for real? It's named Hunter x Hunter. I'm on the EU server, so you might be playing on a different server. That's why you can find me. Okay, and with that view on the Hunter x Hunter, I guess it's time to end it. Right here, right now. I might be streaming that tomorrow when I come home. If I have enough energy to do some recording tomorrow, then I'm gonna do some recording. If I don't have enough energy for recording, I'm gonna do a stream. Also, tomorrow I should have my Elgato, so I might make like a stream of setting that up. So you tell me if it looks good, if it looks bad, more to the left, more to the right, stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. But right now, thank you all for coming to the stream. Leave a comment if you want. What did you think of this stream? Of my depiction of all the characters and stuff like that. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of other streams of other gacha games and also of anime reactions that I also post almost daily. What else? What's next? Click the bell. I already said that. Symphogear, Madoka, Gundam, Tensei Shitaraken Deshita, Arknights, right, Arknights anime. I'm reacting to Arknights anime. If somebody didn't know of that quite yet, then now you do. So if you're interested in my commentary in reaction to the Arknights anime, that's on my channel. Support me if you want monetarily, Patreon Throne. Your Patreon support made me able to buy an Elgato facecam, so it has a significant impact on the channel and the quality of my content. On Patreon, $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal anime like Symphogear, like Madoka, and for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits that you see right now. Join the Discord if you want, link down there in the description. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of some other gear. On Stream Elements, you can give me money, one-time tip if you want, and if you don't want to spend any money, share my content, spread the word. That does help an awful lot. And now, finally, with that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today, for this stream. So, as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And thanks again for coming. It was a bit of a guerrilla stream, but more people came than I thought they would. So that's fine. That's good. That's cool.